All right, Zach. Oh no. What am I going to do? All right, I know. Nephilim.
Did somebody say Nephilim?
Oh, hey, Clay.
What's
How's
up,
it
man?
going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, well, as you can see, Zach is out today on travel. And so I had to call in the trusty sidekick, Clay.
That's right.
Clay Thrower.
I'm not going to be a great replacement, but I'll try to be a halfway decent replacement.
All good.
Big,
all good.
big shoes to fill for Zach. So.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
But so I heard Nephilim.
Nephilim. Yeah.
So we got to at least say that at least once. And then also,
Yeah.
I may have brought
Oh, nice.
energy drinks.
Nice. All right. So this is
I know
Gorilla.
you're a fan of red, white, and blue bombsicles.
That's right.
I got you a Gorilla Mind, so a different brand.
Okay.
So
It's got caffeine and
it's got everything.
It's got everything. So I probably should.
It doesn't have beta
all
alanine, so you're not gonna get the tingles.
Okay, great.
But it should be pretty good.
All right. And for some reason, my mic just dropped. Testing. Okay. All right.
So if you don't like it, I understand. I know that
Do you like it?
That one's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty much every grill of mine is decent.
Okay.
So I got just plain Jane blue raspberry.
All right, sweet.
Even though I was talking to Sharon about this the other day. There's no such fruit as a blue raspberry.
Yeah, there's a Yeah, so I think they colored it blue because they already had too many reds. So they put the raspberry coloring in there, but then they put this really kind of neon blue there because they already had cherry and strawberry and watermelon shades of red. So they just went with
I think
blue.
I think that's right.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's solid.
Yeah,
I think Prime might be better. Your usually go to. But,
yeah,
but that's still pretty good.
My usual go to while we are
playing D&D.
Playing D&D.
That's right. I'm also Michael's D&D friend.
Yeah. So
we did that the other night.
Yeah,
that was
just
fun.
a couple pretty epic session.
Super epic.
I got a lot of compliments, which is good, but it's also pressure.
Yeah,
because you're like,
you have a high bar to hit every time because
you
do so well.
Keep the bar up there.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to have like one that's really bad
Nah,
to reset expectations.
Don't do that. But I was telling somebody how awesome it was that you added another character to the story so seamlessly. I was like, that was perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. So one of our players' brothers, well, he was just like, hey, can I sit in? And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, do you want to play? Like, I think I can squeeze you in there. And he was like, yeah. So I gave him some options of how to do it. His build.
Yeah. And his build was nice too.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be a nice addition for sure.
I built it up thinking it was gonna be one time, and then he did so well and liked it so much. I was like, well, I didn't talk to you, but I talked to a couple others. I was like, what do you think about adding him permanently? And then before I could even say anything, James was like, I'd like to see him come back. I was like, okay, yeah. If he's saying that, let's just add him permanently. So that's good.
Yeah.
But he's going to do a lot of damage because I gave him like a pretty stout.
I glanced at his
sword.
stuff and it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So
it's all good. So we are here to talk about. Speaking of a great warrior.
Yeah, a super strong guy.
Yeah. Samson.
Who doesn't love Samson?
Samson, he's the one that sang that song, Hey There Delilah.
I think that song was based on that. Had to be.
All right, so recent Blurry Creatures episode.
I got to give a lot of credit and shout out to Blurry Creatures episode 320.
Yeah.
With Abe Helper, he's the one that we listened to and I listened to and got some good ideas from, and just stuff that I've never heard before, stuff that maybe we have heard before, but stuff I didn't hear before, and I thought was really interesting. So
I listened to it, and I thought they'll bring out a lot of parallels. So we're going to basically take their material, summarize it, maybe add some of the things that we think about it on top of that. So I think we're ready to transition, which means since you're the guest here, you know what you got to do.
We got to take it to the next level.
From the hearts of the Low Country in South Carolina,
it's the Take Two podcast. where we take theology to the next level. All right, Samson, one of the judges. What do you remember from Samson Sunday school classes?
Probably the most that everybody else remembers. He was a really strong dude. Mm-hmm. Got his hair cut because of a woman.
Yeah.
Lost all his strength.
So you're saying everyone should grow their hair out?
Well, I mean, I wasn't allowed to grow my hair out when I was younger,
Yeah.
but I can tell you right now, if I was able to grow my hair out now, I would do it.
Yeah.
But I can't. So I can only dream of having long flowing locks like he did.
Yeah. I had pretty thick hair, and my dad had a little bit of a receding hairline. And everyone was like, oh, your hair is different than your dad's. It's very thick. You probably will not go bald. Of course, my mom's father was bald. And I guess I've heard for forever that's who you get your baldness from. And recently, there are some exceptions to that. But basically, I think if your mother's father is bald and you're a male,
I think he was. I think my mom's dad was. But my dad has pretty thin hair.
Yeah.
And my hair was just like his, but mine got that way when I was literally like 15 or 16.
Oh.
It started thinning really early. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's just the. God gave some people beautiful heads. Everyone else he gave hair.
Thankfully,
right?
I have a decently round head. That's what I've been told. So, no weird.
That's good.
No weird spots. I may have one or two weird spots, but other than that.
Yeah. So all right. So Samson. Yeah. The normal stuff we hear. Delilah, really strong, took down a temple. But I think what this podcast that we both listened to is pulling out some of those details that you don't hear about, but then also connecting them to the bigger story arc and saying that there's a lot of similarities here. And then we can talk about maybe what conclusions we can draw from that.
Right. Yeah. I think the parallels and the connections between main biblical figures and where it's situated in the Bible is a really cool parallel that the podcast brought out. So I think it'd be cool to go through some of those things.
All right, yeah. So one of those is his birth is announced by the angel of the Lord.
The angel of the Lord, which we've talked about.
And it happens all the time.
And we've talked about it. I think I was on a podcast where we might have talked about the angel of the Lord a little bit.
Yeah. The angel of the Lord is...
When it's capitalized, it's usually meaning a Christophany or a theophany. So pretty sure that it's Jesus incarnate.
Yeah.
Jesus
pre-incarnate.
Correct.
Yeah. It only happens a few times in Scripture. It's not a very common thing.
No. Five times it happens.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people remember the times when it came to Abraham.
Right.
And then, again to Sarah, but then there's the one where it comes to Samson's parents.
Yeah. So to his mom first, and then to his dad.
Yeah, the dad's like, wait, I want to see him too, basically. He's like, you got to see the angel of the Lord? Can we call him back? Can I see him? So that was a cool part of the story.
Yeah. And then thousands of years, and then we have basically around the birth narrative of Christ, we have John the Baptist.
That's right.
And I think that's just a singular event. Elizabeth doesn't get visited, does she?
I don't think so.
Zechariah in the temple.
Right. But then there is a double, because Mary and Joseph both see, right?
And then there you point out that's Gabriel, not the angel of the Lord.
That's Gabriel, right? Yeah. Which both times is talking about Jesus in some way or another. So I was saying it's not Jesus wouldn't announce his own birth. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's Michael did it instead.
Yeah.
Or Gabriel. Sorry.
Yeah.
The other archangel.
Yeah.
So.
And so, and then we also have this as you move through the story. Samson's dad's like, hey, want to cook you a meal? Which is not uncommon for the angel of the Lord. Abraham cooks the angel of the Lord a meal, and he eats. But the angel of the Lord there is like, he's on a diet.
He's like, I won't eat, but you can make a sacrifice.
Yeah. And he, in the sacrifice, he like steps into the smoke.
Yeah, steps into the flames or something, and it says that he picks it up, and then he ascends into heaven with it.
Yeah.
Which is
it's kind of bizarre.
It is.
So something's really crazy going on because we don't have this type of activity, with like Deborah, or trying to think of the left-handed judge who like stabs the guy. Like you have a bunch of different Jehud, have a bunch of different judges around the scene. None of them have this type of activity associated with them like Samson is having. And We see a couple other places in Scripture someone ascends.
There's a big one.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the Bible.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus at the beginning of Acts.
Yeah.
He ascends into heaven. And then the only other person, Elijah.
Elijah, that's right. But that one, he gets taken by
a chariot.
So that's a little bit different.
Yeah,
I think.
and then Enoch walked with the Lord and was not. So
we don't know how Enoch went up.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Probably with like a shout of a tuba or something.
Right. maybe he rode a Nephilim up there. Yeah. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. So at the very outset, we find these kind of odd things that are happening with the story of Samson. Anything else you want to say here? You had a note here about Judges 13 and the angel of the Lord.
Well, it was just the angel of the Lord reference. Yeah, that it appears to be the theophany or the Christophany. Yeah. All
right, and then Samson takes. Well, his parents are told that he is supposed to take a Nazarite vow.
Right. His mom's supposed to do it while she's pregnant.
Right.
And then he's supposed to do it his whole life.
His whole life. And one of the things that the commenter on Blurry Creatures was saying is that we see this kind of mentioned in number 6.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people that maybe take it for a short period of time, but we don't know anyone other than Samson who is supposed to basically maintain it his whole life.
Right.
Which would be a little weird. Never cut your hair your whole life. I mean, even Absalom cut his hair once a year.
Right. And does it say how old he got whenever the story picks up, whenever he's looking for a wife and all that stuff? Because I wonder how long, like
how long do you kind of
30
stay
years
on
of hair
straight
growth
and narrow
or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think at some point in time it starts falling out. So, yeah, I don't think it will just
I don't know
growing.
if he, like, wrapped it up in a man bun or something,
Yeah, he probably had some type of...
Yeah, I mean, I would think that if it gets long enough, you have to do something with it to, like, keep it out of the way.
Yeah. Unless he started going bald, and then he had, we don't know. So part of that Nazarite vow, we already talked about no cutting your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing from the fruit of the vine. So that would have meant no grapes, no raisins, and no wine or grape juice. So no version of a grape.
Mm-hmm.
And then no touching dead bodies.
Right.
So for a normal Jew, if you touch a dead body, it would make you unclean for a while.
Right, you had to go ritually bathe and stuff to get back.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's kind of like someone dies, someone's got to move them and bury them and stuff and embalm them, and then you're ritually unclean for a little bit. It wasn't a sin. It's just you had to get ritually cleansed in order to then go back into the temple. But for him, he was never supposed to touch a dead body. So we see this kind of parallel, and we will see him break all three of these.
Right.
And then this has always been a question, and I've asked others about it.
Oh, really? Because
yeah.
I've had this question from when I was a little kid. Whenever I heard that, go say it.
Yeah, that Jesus is a Nazarene,
right? And I was like, that sounds really similar to
the Nazarite vow.
Nazarite vow.
Yeah.
So was Jesus a Nazarite? Did he take a Nazarite vow?
Yeah. Well, and we know that he drank wine,
right?
And we don't know anything about his hair or whether he touched a dead body. Well, we know he touched dead bodies, right?
Right. They got upset when they Lazarus, right? Was it
well,
Lazarus?
Yeah, he called Lazarus out,
but he didn't touch him. We don't know.
The one girl that he said was
the girl
sleeping.
that was sleeping.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'd have to go back and look to see if he actually touched her when he brought her back to life, or he just commanded her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to go back and see.
So there's a question mark there, then,
yeah.
maybe. But we know. And then you were saying wine, which he definitely drank at the Last Supper.
Right.
Is it recorded anywhere else that he drank it anywhere else, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Like when he made the water into wine at the wedding feast.
Luke 34,
does it say he drank
734? I have a note that it may record him drinking wine. It says, the Son of Man has come eating and drinking, and you say, behold, a gluttonous man and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. So it's implied there that he is drinking wine with his disciples there. So the folks on the podcast, they definitely thought that there was a parallel, because if you look at the Septuagint translation of this Nazarite vow, I guess it's the same word as the city that as Nazarene.
Right. I think there was something with the Greek word Nazarene and Nazarite can be translated the same almost, or something like that.
Right. So maybe Matthew's picking up on something there.
Yeah.
But
This was a really speculative section.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's some things that just kind of like seem like they would make sense, and like you were saying, is that I think it's Matthew, right? References that there's a Nazarite vow or something that.
It's Matthew 2:23 says, and he shall be called a Nazarene. Let me just pull there.
And that's the word that potentially could be translated differently.
Right.
So, and I think he says on the podcast that there's scholars have looked into this, and there's nothing they can find any Old Testament prophecy that match this.
Right. So what was Matthew?
So what is Matthew referencing?
Right.
Is he referencing a Apocrypha book, like Book of Enoch, or Book of Maccabees, or something like that? Or is it a translation error that there's something Nazarite that he's referring to?
Yeah, maybe Jesus took a Nazarite vow for a while.
Oh yeah, for maybe not his whole life, but maybe when he was
I guess that could be
preparing to become, to come out on the scene.
We're trying to speculate, trying to connect the dots because all the dots aren't connected for us. Matthew 2:23 says, and came and lived in the city of Nazareth. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. So like where do the prophets say that? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a little bit unsolved mystery. Some of the theories are that Matthew is referring to Nazarene and Nazareth as a wordplay, Nazir. He may be making a theological allusion. Isaiah 11:1 calls the Messiah a branch, a netzer in Hebrew, and some scholars think Matthew is linking Nazareth and netzer, kind of as a play on words. Matthew may have summarized multiple prophetic themes, despised, set apart under this phrase, because those from Nazareth were despised. Because, you'd hear people say nothing good comes out of Nazareth.
Right.
So perhaps it was that. The other one, when we talked to, he wasn't under a Nazarite vow, especially towards the end of his life, but maybe there was a time when he was younger. We just don't know. But it is odd that those two words are so similar, and you try to make some type of connection between them.
Right.
All right. So really, from there, the next thing we see about Samson is that he's fallen in love. We're not given an age. Is he 18, 22?
Right. Didn't they get married like really young sometimes too? Like,
I think the ladies were younger, and the men would go off and try to make a profession, build a house and stuff, and
get the house
prepared.
ready. They build onto their parents' house and stuff like that.
And be prepared to kind of like support the family. Judge 14, it says, let's read this in context. Judges 14 is where he falls in love. So let me just turn there.
This I think was really interesting. This part of the story too.
And it says, then Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman in Timnah, one of the daughters of the Philistines. So he came back and told his father and mother, I saw a woman in Timnah, one of the daughters of the Philistines. Now, therefore, get her for me as a wife. Then his father and his mother said to him, is there no woman among the daughters of your relatives or among all our people that you go to take a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines? But Samson said to his father, get her for me, for she looks good to me. However, his father and mother did not know that it was the Lord, for he was seeking an occasion against the Philistines. Now at the time, the Philistines were ruling over Israel. So you have these folks, this Philistines, probably European looking, would have come in from a boat. So we don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're not like the Arabs of the land, or like descendants of Ishmael or that. So, and we think maybe there are some giants among the Philistines.
I think that's highly probable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Philistine army, that you fast forward 100 years and David is fighting a Philistine army that has Goliath and his 4 brothers.
And they're giants.
Yeah. And they're probably the remnant of other giants that, have been slowly killed off. Ever since Joshua and his conquest was supposed to eradicate the Holy Land.
Yeah.
of the giants. You go back 100 years, there's probably more.
Yeah.
So.
And some people think that maybe these, because there are a lot of myths, Achilles, Hercules, and stuff. So if you do kind of subscribe to this Nephilim thing where it's, these kind of demigod people were brought about, you can see how that could give rise to some of these grand tales.
Right.
And if you had a group of them with maybe some normal people like migrating out of the Greek area or somewhere along there down to where Israel is, I mean, maybe that's what's happening. And the Lord's wanting to eradicate them from Israel.
Right.
And so somehow the Lord has made Samson fall in love with this woman. And
that's what I thought was interesting is he basically put the desire in Samson, like, fall in love with this woman.
Yeah.
For a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy what ends up happening, but yeah, I thought that was really unique that there, as the notes say, that the Philistines, that was outside of the Jewish people.
Right.
There was a love for this bride that he wanted, and it's the same way Jesus, outside of the Jewish people, he wanted the whole world. He wanted the Gentiles and everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jesus makes a bride out of the nations,
right?
Out of the goyim, and Samson's going to do the same thing, or at least try to. Right. So this is maybe one of those stories. It depends on how good your Sunday school teacher was. You may have picked up on this story. You never heard it before?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I have a very bad memory. You can ask my wife and my mother. They both will attest that I have a horrible memory. So I probably was taught that part of the story.
Yeah.
Just the highlights stick out.
Yeah.
Like we talked about.
Well, I'm thinking of the lion, like the fact that they're going to go down to Timnah,
right?
And he's going to kill a lion with his bare hands,
right? Yep. I remember that part.
Yeah.
Because that goes together with the whole. He's super strong,
right? And so he hasn't. I don't think killing something is fine. Right. Like you kill something and then leave it go. And then they go on down to Timnah. They make some arrangements. Then they come back to where they are living. And then on their way back to Timnah, I think for, the ceremony leading up to the wedding, he wants to go look at what happened to this lion carcass.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to get the first record of him breaking one of his Nazarite vows because,
well, that was what I had a question. Is the vow not to touch a dead body or anything dead?
I think it's anything dead.
Okay. Because if it's anything dead, then he broke it. But if it's a dead body...
If it's just the bones, you're saying maybe he...
Well, if it's not that's an animal. That's not a human.
Oh.
It's not a human body.
Yeah, I think it's any dead body. That's how I understood it. Whenever I heard it taught, I've heard taught.
So that means that you would... So then, sacrificed animals...
Yeah,
are they excluded?
Somehow food, like any type of meat that he would eat. I guess there's a difference between like a carcass that's laid
right
versus food that's been prepared and taken care of. I guess you'd have to make that distinction. Right. Unless at least he's tempting fate. I guess there's a way you could maybe get a stick in and get some honey. But anyways,
this is weird. I've always felt this is really weird.
Yeah. So I've always pictured in the rib cages of this lion, there's a beehive there.
Right. Yeah. And
so he sticks something in and gets some honey and eats it. Yeah.
They didn't talk about any parallels or any weird prophecy or anything, but this just
it is really
it's in there for a reason. I feel like everything's in there for a reason, right? But I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I've always assumed it to mean, this is interesting, so interesting that he's willing to risk breaking his vow, even if he didn't by touching this, or by fully breaking it by getting that honey out and eating it out of the carcass, which he's supposed to stay away from.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he thought that I'm going to marry this Philistine woman. I'm kind of breaking my vow, or I'm not. Maybe I'm not living up to what I need to be doing. Anyways, maybe I should just eat the honey.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Regardless, he goes off, he gets the honey, he rejoins his parents as they go down. They're in the middle of this feast. He makes this bet with 30 people there, 30 of the Philistines, and he gives them basically this riddle. And it sounds like something ChatGPT might come up with. But
it wasn't a great riddle. You have to know the answer for it to make any sense at all.
Right, but basically, it's the answer to the riddle is I got honey out of this lion,
Right.
like out of the killer or out of the I got something sweet,
Right.
There's several days going on. You'd think he'd learn, but he doesn't. This woman basically comes in about, you should tell me the answer.
Yeah.
If you love me.
Yeah, this is foreshadowing right here.
And he breaks down and tells her, she tells her relatives, and he's very wroth.
Yeah, he was mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then he goes over to Gaza. And I wonder if that's any relationship to present day Gaza. I didn't look that up, but it was a question that came to mind. Where some other Philistines were. And the Palestine is, I don't think it's the same people groups, but it's the Philistine name that's been Romanized and then applied to the people who live there. So Palestine is basically a derivative of the word Philista or Philistine.
I think I've heard that. Yeah.
So he goes over to and kills 30 Philistines in Ashkelon and over around Gaza to settle the debt, and he gathers their clothes and then brings them back. And from what I understand, clothes were an expensive commodity back then. So 30 pieces, 30 sets of clothing would have been
probably
no small feat.
Right.
All right. So, and here we see you think 30 people were killed, and this is God's judgment on the Philistines. And I'm thinking 30. I mean, 30 is not nothing.
Right.
But it seems like a lot to just get 30 people. But maybe this instilled fear, or because God's working to eventually get the Philistines out.
Well, this is probably the first glimpse they had of his strength.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there's anything before that really showed off how strong he was.
Yeah.
Taking out 30 dudes is impressive.
Yeah. So then he goes back and he kind of sulks back in his hometown. And from there, he's going to decide, okay, I think I do still want that lady.
Even after she betrayed me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he goes back, and lo and behold, she's married to some Philistine. And now he's even more wroth.
Yeah.
Mad. He's very mad. And so this is he captures 300 foxes, ties them in groups of 2. So 150
That's a lot of
pairs.
A lot of foxes. Again, This is a crazy part of the story that takes time. And that
Right.
Where do you find
300 foxes?
300 foxes?
Yeah, and if you put your hand up, they'll probably bite you.
That's an inside D&D joke.
So I always wonder on these numbers because I've read some things that when you're telling a story of victory back in this time, it was just given that you exaggerated the numbers. Maybe it's 30 foxes.
Yeah.
And it's
Still impressive.
It is still impressive. I always just wonder, are we missing
for sure? Yeah.
the precision, there.
Right.
But regardless, he captures a large number of foxes. 300 will go with that. Ties their tails together and then puts a burning torch on it and then lets them go. And they're presumably going to be afraid of the fire and just kind of run in crazy patterns. And if you let them go near agricultural fields, going to burn them all up.
Right. Put a hurting on the crops.
Yeah, and so the Philistines are not happy. So they come out, and we know here he touches the part of a dead animal because he picks up the jawbone of a donkey.
Oh yeah. Well, he does that after his wife and father-in-law get killed.
Yeah.
And so he retaliates.
Yeah.
He goes to take out some Philistines, and he looks down, and there's a jawbone of a donkey. Which is crazy. He picks it up.
How big is a jawbone of a donkey?
I don't know. And like, what shape is it? Like, I don't know. I've never seen one.
Do you think he picked up the teeth side, or
I don't know. Was it broken in half?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
Did he break it in half and dual wield it? Like, I don't know.
He thought this is a good weapon.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fight just with my hands anymore. I need a weapon, and kills 1,000 people with it.
Crazy number again.
Yeah.
1,000 people.
Yeah.
Is a lot.
It is a lot. And then David fought Goliath alone and so we see some of those unique, maybe David taking on some Philistines alone, Samson taking on some Philistines alone. Maybe some small parallel there. Yeah. All right, so we just keep moving on. After the jawbone, Samson is very, very thirsty. And he cries out to God, do I have to die at the thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? And this is kind of parallels Jesus being crucified by Romans, who would be considered the uncircumcised.
Yep.
But God provides water from a rock.
That sounds familiar as well.
It sounds familiar because that's how God gave water to the Israelites as they are, going through, the wandering through the deserts.
Yeah. And that's a plug for another episode of Blurry Creatures. The guy on there talks about the real Mount Sinai that he thinks that they found. And
it's not the traditional site.
Right. It's not
over
traditional
there, like in Yemen, in South Yemen.
I didn't look at exactly where it was, but he supposedly has pictures on this episode, and he shows the rock that he thinks was hit by Moses.
And it's all blackened and stuff.
Well, and it's massive.
It's like split like this.
It's massive too. Like I guess you picture in Sunday school like a little tiny rock.
Yeah.
But no, it looks like it would have been a waterfall.
It's like a rock, and it's like a little water fountain. Everyone's got to come by and take a little drink out of it.
Exactly. No, this is like, it looked like it could be a waterfall. So
the one I saw a video of this. I think we have it at our church. And I think it's in Yemen, and there's these Yemenis Bedouins that kind of guard it, and they have a fence around it, and like these people like snuck in, and and it's guarded by the government. I think it's Yemen.
Yeah, it was locked down for a long time.
And the rocks are all blackened up there.
Oh yeah, I heard he has pictures of the blackened rock.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense to me that would probably be the actual site of Mount Sinai.
Sorry to derail it.
No, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, so that's another parallel is the water coming out of a rock.
Yeah. All right, and so then things kind of settle down. He then wants a female lady again, needs a companion, and so he starts singing "Hey There, Delilah."
Right. Now we're back to the part of the story that most everybody remembers. This is the one that gets, I guess, taught the most, I would think.
Yeah. And so he pursues Delilah. She gives him wine to drink, gets him drunk. So now we see 2 of the 3 parts of his vow broken. Right. He's touched a carcass.
Yep.
He's drank from the fruit of the vine, and Delilah is offered silver to betray Samson.
That's that one. Like I was like, whoa. I guess I never remembered that one, but that one's a really cool parallel.
Right.
Is betrayed by somebody he loved for silver.
Yeah.
It doesn't say necessarily 30 pieces or whatever, but still it's a coincidence.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of coincidences between the story and Jesus' story.
Yeah. So Delilah kind of seduces Samson and says, "Hey, tell me what makes you so strong." And the first time he tells her fresh bowstrings or straps. And then she's like, "Samson, Samson, the Philistines are upon you." And he breaks them.
Right.
And then beats them up.
Yeah.
They're mad at her, and she's mad at him. "You lied to me."
The guilt trip. Yeah.
So he says, well, it's new ropes that have never been used before.
Which I thought that was a unique part of the story, because earlier in the story when he gets taken captive by pretend, he has, it says that he got tied with new ropes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just weird to use that language again.
Yeah.
He I think, was it you or somebody else said maybe he didn't know exactly what was going to cause his strength to go.
I think maybe he thought, the spirit's upon me. I'm just going to mess around.
Right.
I don't. It's hard for me to believe that he actually thought cutting his hair was going to take away his strength.
Right.
And then he would tell her that.
Right.
I think the guys on the podcast that we listened to, Blurry Creatures, thought he did understand that was the case.
Yeah, I think they thought that.
But I think maybe he's just.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. The new ropes thing stood out to me because it's like he used it. Somebody used it to bind him earlier, and then he says it here.
Right.
It's a unique phrasing. New ropes,
Yeah. I guess because maybe old ropes are weaker because they've been stretched, and I don't know.
Sure.
The next one was weaving his hair into a loom. It doesn't say celestial loom. It just says normal loom. It's another inside joke.
I like it.
Sorry about that. We'll have to get all the D&D guys to listen to the episode so they get the inside jokes. But and so he breaks his hair free from a loom, which would be really weird to wake up and see your hair woven into some.
You'd go to sit up and you'd be like, "What's happening?"
And so she's really mad. Like, you've lied to me. And it seems like he would say, yeah, and you have tried to ambush me 3 times now.
Yeah. And this is also unique. Again, there's 3 times, you know. It's that 3 number repeating.
Right.
I instantly went back to think about when the disciple, said he didn't know Jesus 3 times,
Yeah.
And it's not exactly the perfect parallel, but I don't know, that just stuck out to me too.
Yeah. But on the 4th time, he tells her, cut my hair. So she does, and he wakes up and he doesn't know.
Right. He thinks everything's fine.
Thinks everything's fine, and everything's not fine, and he gets bound. They gouge his eyes out, and he is basically taken as a prisoner. So I think everyone knows this. They make an allusion to him being blinded and Paul being blinded. Yeah, maybe. And then I think everyone knows this part. He's put in this pillar. They're having some big party. And he says, hey, can you just put my hands by these 2 pillars? And so his hands are outstretched. So this was something else. Like in his death, his hands are outstretched.
This one is really cool. I like this one.
Yeah. Just like Jesus' hands are outstretched when he died. And his hair has grown back a little bit. So he's got, I don't know, a little bit of...
starting to get some hair.
A little bit of stubble up there. And...
you would think that they would... If they knew that's what his strength, they would keep it pretty close shaven.
Yeah, I guess it's just symbolic because ultimately his strength is coming from the Spirit coming upon him.
I think every time it says the Spirit came upon him, right?
Yeah.
Every time he really did some amazing feat of strength.
Yeah.
It said the Spirit came upon him.
And I guess the Spirit had departed when his hair got cut. And then so he makes a sacrificial move to push the pillars down, collapsing the temple, killing 3,000 people. And so we see this parallel we kind of already mentioned to Jesus. His arms are outstretched, and Jesus' greatest victory came about through his death, victory over sin and death and hell. And Samson's greatest victory comes about through his death.
Right.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, and then another parallel that they mentioned, I don't know that this is so unique.
Right.
Because your family is always going to come get your body.
You would hope.
Yeah. But Jesus' body was retrieved by friends and family, and so was Samson's. All right, so as we've gone through here, we just have like a little list of all these parallels that we've mentioned.
When you add them all up, there's a good bit.
Yeah,
and that's
so
it's
I guess the conclusion is kind of a type of Christ in some sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A person who lived, a set apart life, did great, amazing things with God's power to save the people.
Yeah.
I guess in a nutshell.
Death.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his birth announced by an angel. That angel sends sends up to the heavens. The Spirit of the Lord comes upon him. He's spoken riddles to the people. Jesus spoken parables to the people. He took a donkey jawbone and achieved victory.
This one I like too because it was the greatest victory in life. Of the episode talked about that Jesus' greatest victory in life was riding on the donkey at the day of Pentecost and them celebrating the Messiah.
Yeah.
And that had to do with the donkey. And Samson's greatest victory had to do with a donkey when he was alive.
Yeah.
Really unique. And
they also mentioned Balaam, but we don't really know how to tie Balaam and his donkey into this.
That's a weird story as well. The Tonka donkey, but yeah.
Both Jesus and Samson were betrayed for silver. Both achieved greatest victory in their death. Both died with their arms kind of stretched out. Death destroys their enemies, Philistines for Samson, sin, death, and hell for Jesus, and then buried by those that loved them. So, and then the kind of final thing was, and I've never thought about this, But we're never given a physical description of Samson.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like that part too.
So he may have been like 6'4",
right,
and standing out, or he could have been, I don't know, 5'11".
5'11".
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm not quite as daunting as he would have been, but maybe I am.
Yeah, maybe he looked just like
a regular guy.
Yeah.
With long hair, and that was the only discerning factor.
Yeah, and then the supernatural strength came upon them, and he was able to, do these feats.
Well, did they say this in? Yeah, I think they talked about this in the pod as well. That the counterfeit. Satan always has a counterfeit, and when demons come up, inhabit somebody, they have superhuman strength a lot of times. That's one of the characteristics. But they don't change appearance. They still look the same with superhuman strength. So this is God's version of that. Potentially, is the Spirit of the Lord came upon him and gave him superhuman strength. So even though we like to imagine he looked like Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, that he probably didn't.
Right. Yeah. Maybe not. He probably just looked normal. So Samson was a super soldier empowered by the Spirit to begin the defeat of the Philistines and wiping out these giants, the Raphaim, probably descendants of the Nephilim somehow.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, because this is one of the last. I think this is one of the last mentions of giants, and before Goliath.
Right.
And then they're pretty much not mentioned in the Bible anymore.
Right. So David takes out Goliath, and then later on in 2 Samuel, some of David's men take out some of Goliath's brothers. Right. Yeah. Jesus, so Samson's a super soldier, parallel Jesus being a superhuman in a defined sense, and then also defeating sin, death, and hell. Samson gets 4 full chapters in the book of Judges. I don't know that guy who prayer Jabez may get. Oh no, that's later on. I'm thinking of Jehu.
I don't know.
Yeah, the guy that comes back and puts there's some other figures that get a couple chapters, but I think this is probably the bulk. I don't know if any of them get that.
It's a lot of detail that we get. Yeah.
Hebrews 11 includes him as a hero of the faith despite his flaws. That's pretty big.
Yeah, and this is something that I liked that they discussed too, is that I feel like that Samson's always used not in a negative connotation, but it's always preached upon, or woe is you.
Good example of a bad example.
Good example of a bad example, and they use it to say stay away from women or do this, and then nobody really ever focuses on the good aspects.
Right.
He kept this vow for a really long time, and he carried out God's judgment on the Philistines. That's probably the bulk of it. We just focus on the screw ups. As humans, that's what we like to do. We like to focus on the screw ups of people. It makes us feel better about ourselves.
We already talked about Philistines having some remnants of giants in Samson's day. Timeline, this is about 1,100 years before Christ. So, all right. So interesting character, kind of a type of Christ that we see that maybe you haven't made those connections before into all the stories. So anything else you want to say?
I don't think Samson? So. I just think it was, I think it was really cool to see the parallels to get something other than this really strong guy that messed up, to see that it's a good prototype of the coming Christ.
Yeah, and I think maybe the moral of the story is that when there are details in a story, pay attention to them, because God's adding them
they're there
through
for
his
a reason.
prophet for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we don't always understand them, but they're there. There was a reason they were put in there. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, I think that closes out, and I you know what you've got to do.
Oh, I know what I got to do.
Okay. All right.
I'm coming for Zach's job. That's our take.
Thanks for listening to Take 2. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our videocast.